one.
Hi, everybody. It's Laura and Brooke here for Legal Talk Tuesdays. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why drafting your own contract in your business world is a bad idea. We're not talking about this just because we're lawyers and we want your business. We're talking about this because you need to protect yourself from all the pitfalls out there that could happen if you don't have a good contract in place for your business. So we understand that it's tempting to save a few dollars by getting a business form online, doing a search or something like that, but it can really leave your business vulnerable. If you're conducting business, you definitely need contracts, but you need good contracts that are actually enforceable. And we're going to talk about the 3 things that are reasons why you don't just want to go and get an online form.
Right. So like Laura said, it's really important if you're conducting business that you make sure that all of your contracts and agreements are in order. So the first of the 3 things we're going to talk about are that you may not necessarily have all of the required provisions included in the contract. So a lot of times what we see is people will piece together multiple parts of contracts that they either find online, that they've already used previously, or that maybe somebody shared with them. So by doing that, you actually could leave out really important things that need to be included to actually protect your business. So one thing that you need to consider is business needs actually vary from business to business and even industry to industry. So that also needs to be considered and reflected in your contracts. An example of that is if you have an independent contractor that you work with, the independent contractor agreements for, say, an insurance agent is going to be basically, you're always going to need a non-compete and a confidentiality provision. But if you have a freelance web designer that you're contracting with to rebuild your website or create you a website, likely they're not going to agree to signing something like that because they're not going to not compete because they freelance, and that would essentially mean they only work for you. So nor should they need to sign anything that includes their provisions or be bound by anything like that. So insurance agents, for instance, have to have access or they have access to customer lists and confidential not only information about clients, but processes and systems for the insurance agency. So if that kind of thing isn't protected by the agency, by including provisions that are necessary in the contract, that can be really detrimental to the agency, not only because they could have their client list breached or confidential information shared about their systems and processes. So you really need to make sure that your contracts are tailored to your specific need. The second thing that you need to consider is that the law varies from state to state. And so if you're going to take a document from another state, which sometimes that happens too. Sometimes you go and you Google, you need a specific business contract and you Google it, and you're going to get something from another state and you just want to use it and reformat it. There are things that overlap. There are things that you're just fine using. But generally, if you're doctoring a document from another state, it may not include the provisions that are applicable to your state. So for instance, a non-compete in California, if you go and pull a document, I saw this the other day, you pull a document from California, it may fail to include things that are required here in Arkansas for that to be an enforceable contract. So what's the point of even having that contract in the first place? And we shared recently on social media a case out of Western Arkansas about a non-compete. And the problem in that was that this non-compete was drafted, but it was way too overly broad in area and in detail. So when you have a non-compete specifically, the non-compete has to be specifically tailored to your practice, and it also has to be reasonable. You can't create a non-compete where the person pretty much cannot, if they're not working with or for you, pretty much can't have a job and earn a living. So what happened in that case is it was not narrowly tailored enough. It wasn't enforceable by Arkansas standards, so they threw it out. So then they lost all of that protection of that non-compete, and the individual was able to go on and conduct business even if it was contrary to the agency that they were working with. So you may not be able to include, or you may not include all of your necessary provisions if you do it yourself. And you also need to pay attention to the fact that the law varies from state to state. That's one and two of the reasons why it's not a great idea to draft your own contracts.
Exactly. And reason number three is something that people just don't want to think about. And that is that, honestly, you have to understand and write in your contracts, foresee possible consequences of what you do and don't have in there. And it's a good example is, think of your contract, your business relationship, like a marriage, like a personal relationship, because it's really necessary to kind of combine that in your brain a little bit, because, entering into a business relationship and trying to exit out of one, it's a very similar type thing. You've got to make sure that you foresee those consequences of things. There are certain things that you need to include in a contract to make it legally enforceable, not just what Brooke was saying about non-compete clauses and things like that, because those are going to be, they're going to vary greatly by industry and by jurisdiction about what you're allowed to do with those. But there are other things as well that you want to make sure that don't negate the entire contract just because you've put something in there that you thought, hey, let me just throw this in there. An attorney is somebody that can help you understand that I know you want that in there, but it's actually going to be a problem for you later. It's not just making sure that those things are included, but you want to make sure that the execution of the contract is done correctly. So you need to have all your, I's dotted and T's crossed and everything like that. An attorney is the person who is recognized, especially an attorney with experience, like Brooke has, for example, in business law. They have the understanding, they have the training in order to identify those potential issues, not just based on business law in general, but on your specific industry, your specific situation. She's going to know, an attorney's going to know, okay, here are the things that you need to put in place to protect yourself for the future. An example of that is that, again, going back to thinking of your business relationship, as kind of a marriage of sorts, if you enter into a business partnership agreement, things that, you're in the honeymoon phase, because otherwise, why would you want to go into business with this person? Brooke and I happen to be perfect, and we're the yin and yang. Exactly. We're the yin and yang that everyone strives to be. I say that tongue in cheek, but it's honestly true, because we're awesome. But you're in that honeymoon phase because, oh, I love this person. I know that we're going to do great business together. That's all awesome. So you don't necessarily, in that phase, just like in a honeymoon phase of a personal relationship, you don't want to burden yourself and have hard talks with your partner about things that could go wrong and how you protect yourselves, each of you. What do we need to put in the agreement just in case this goes south, that kind of thing. An attorney is going to be able to help you kind of bridge that gap a little bit of, all right, I know you don't want to think about this, but it's very important. It's kind of like, it's a prenuptial agreement to a certain extent. So, this is how it's going to happen if you guys do end up parting ways. So the problem that of a business divorce, it's real, and you have to prepare for the worst, because not everybody is, 100% in for the entirety of the business. You guys probably all know how often you see people kind of break up in their businesses, part ways for various reasons. You need to just make sure that you're covered and your partner is covered however you need to do that. So you might not even, in your brain, you might not even know, you might have even had these discussions and think that you've covered everything. But trust me, talking to an attorney who has experience with business contracts and has seen these partnerships and collaborations break up, that attorney can help you navigate those difficult things with your partner so that you guys are protecting yourselves, not just with contractors, but with each other in your agreement. So that's number 3. Think about your business as a marriage, and you need to make sure that things are in place to help you in the event that something goes wrong. So just to wrap up, why the, top 3 things of why creating your own business contract is not necessarily the best idea. We'll say bad idea, but we see these contracts all the time. Brooke does our business law here, and there are often times when she is having to try to figure out how to fix things after they've gone wrong, or there's maybe not much we can do because it's so poorly written that they're just, in essence, I'll use poor language and just say screwed. So protect yourself on the front end. You don't want to get into a situation that it's too late to do anything on the back end. So you got to be proactive about your business. And MyVirtual.Lawyer is here to help you. We are, because of the way that we practice and utilize technology and everything, we can do a lot of different things with your business. We can help with a la carte services. We can, review contracts for you, draft contracts for you, but we also offer subscription plans so that if you are, especially if you're a new business and you want to make sure things are in compliance and working, long term, we have subscription plans where you can have an attorney that works with you, kind of on a regular basis. It's just a monthly fee for a 12 month. And you have your kind of in-house counsel, but we are not on your payroll and you're not paying for a full-time employee. So it's a lot more reasonable and affordable idea with that.
Right. So thank you guys for joining us today. Next week, we'll be here again for Legal Talk Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. And we're going to be talking about whether your current contract is enforceable and giving you 4 requirements for a valid contract here in Arkansas. So thanks for tuning in, and we hope you join us next week. Thanks.
Bye.
Freaking never ended.
I'm still live for those of you that are out there.
Maybe. I don't know. It says we're live. It's not letting me end it. All right, I'm just going to exit out of it.
Okay.